Hey guys, welcome to 3 Years on T. I did not make a video on the day of my anniversary, so today is the day. My anniversary date is December 13th, and actually today's shot day for me, so it would have been 3 years, I think, exactly today that I took my first shot of testosterone. So there's a lot of things that go on in transition. Some guys think it's all about the physical when they document their transitions, and some guys mix it with emotions, and I tend to mix my transition with my physical changes, my emotional changes, and my spirituality. A lot goes on when you finally are freed from your cage and you go out into the world and you explore things that you didn't get to see being the whole you. So I'm going to start real quick with physical changes. Now, a lot of guys say, oh, it's the same old thing, and I'm not going to knock them for how they look at changes, but we actually continue to mature and change all the way up to like 10 years or plus. I reflect back when my niece got married to my nephew-in-law, and they were just in their early 20s, I think. Late teens, early 20s. I think it was very early 20s. And looking at him now, and he has matured a lot in that time. His features have grown more prominent. His facial hair has grown more mature, meaning that before he probably could shave twice a week and be okay, and now it's like shaving almost every day. My brother-in-law is the same thing, looking back at pictures 30 years ago and comparing his facial hair and the structure of his face and his skin, the thickness of his skin. There's a big difference now. I mean, he can grow a full beard. It's not long, but he can grow a full beard in a day. That's how fast his hair grows. Back then, he could probably shave 3 times every other day, if not every 2 days. But there's still minute changes that go on, constant. And so when you see, because they are minute, you're just maturing. A lot of guys don't realize that those are still changes to report. So I'm going to go start with hair like everybody does, My hair tends to still fill in. I had mentioned last video that I had shaved up here, and I asked myself, why did I shave up here if I'm wanting to see what's growing? So I quit shaving up there, and even though, and I know it's shadow, so you probably can't see the beard good, but right in here, it looks bald, but I do have a lot of fine hair coming in. So I'm thinking if I just let this keep growing, that this is all going to fill in and mature. This is bald, basically, right in here. So one side might be different than the other. Hell, the top of my hair, one side's different than the other. And my hair right now is wet. I had bed hair. I didn't feel like doing anything. Excuse me. I gotta put her down. Get down. So my hair is kind of flat right now. Another thing is that I always talk about muscles, and I always talk about my chest. Now, when I touch my chest, I can feel the muscle. I feel the outlining of it right here. And as you can see, when I put my hand, you can see me go dip down under that muscle. My nipples are right where they should be, right at the end of the muscle. But since I have weight on me and have always had the dog ears and the roll underneath my arms, now that I've lost weight, it's folding over on one side and it looks terrible. I know I'm going to need a revision, but I'm not concentrating on that right now. My main focus is getting healthier and losing weight. So anyway, so that is a change. There are probably, as we mature, and it takes like 10 years or so for a person to really mature into their body and develop everything to its prime state. So hair is going to constantly fill in It's not going to be noticeable like it was in the beginning for a lot of people because they didn't have hair like they have now. But there is constant changes on your body. You've got finger hair, you got toe hair, your hair's thickening, you don't realize it. Those who shave probably don't know how much hair they really have on their face. That's the whole reason why I participated in the No Shave November, was because I really wanted to see what all was going on with my face. So I think that my eyebrows are definitely filling in. You just can't see it. They're light. But I think that my face is still changing. My eyelids are over my eyes more now. And I think that's due, my family, my dad's side have the foreheads. They don't go over their eyes, but they are prominent like that. Even my aunt's like that. And I think that's where my face is heading. I don't think I'll ever have like a real square jaw. None of my family has a real square jaw, men or women. So I do have a round face. My mom's side of the family has a narrow face. My brother does not look anything like me. In fact, he's totally opposite of everything you see. He's opposite. He looks like my mother's side of the family. He's a thin guy. He has muscle tone. He's a sheetrock hanger. And so he's got some muscle, but he's not a bodybuilder by no means. My chest is probably 10 inches thicker than his. We're just about the same height. I think he's got a little bit more on me. He looks taller because he's skinny. But anyway, so my body's constantly maturing, and so changes are still happening, and I can feel the voice is, I said this the last couple months, the voice kind of feels like it's changing. I have to still work into my new voice. I still tend to pitch up when I project my voice. I listen to the males in my family, and they don't have to. And so that's something I really need to work on, because there's times I don't feel I'm being heard. So I project, and it just raises a couple pitches. So anyway, that's about physical changes with me. Emotional changes, when I drive, I do a lot of reflecting. I reflect back as being a female body and how I felt like I always had to prove my self-worth. Always wondered why I didn't feel victimized, but always wondered what was the purpose of me having to live this different journey than other people. And I have my own reasoning, when I look at my dad and I look at my brother, and I think if I had been born male, being under that behavior, I'm wondering if I wouldn't have turned out a little bit different than I am now. And because of the way I think about things, I'm actually very grateful and thankful that I was not born male. I was born male inside, but, outwardly, 100% male. And I think it just, because I don't want to follow those footsteps. And some people have told me, I don't think you would have, because you have a different spiritual person. But that spiritual person was also molded by my situations in life, my experiences, my choices. It always wants to cut off right when I'm hitting a really good subject. But it's those same experiences and choices that I made that I really had to dip deep down into myself and my upbringing into the spiritual world, and depend and have a lot of faith that things were going to come out or turn out okay, regardless if I made a bad choice or not. I was seeking to iron things out and put some good into it. So, we don't understand why people are gay, or why people are, transgender, why people are born in certain cultures and why other cultures happen. There's a lot of questions in life that will never be answered, because if we were all born the same and all made the same, there wouldn't be any challenges in life, and there wouldn't be, the good and the bad and the positive and the negative and the hate and the love. And a lot of that is how we grow into ourselves and our outlook on life, and how our own lives turn out actually is how we think about things. So so I look back at being a female body person, and I went through a lot of heartaches and I went through a lot of tribulations within my own journey, but it brought out a stronger person, and that's where we go into spirituality. I was raised as God being the deity, and so I just stay with God. There's lots of labels for our higher creators. There is something out there that created us at some point in time, and so I know that Mother Earth takes care of herself, and she wings out the bad, and she floods the terrible, and and she gets what she needs to be done to keep her earth flowing and maturing naturally. So be it with humans. We've been given a freedom to make choices for ourselves, and in the cultures that have freedom like ours in the United States, it's a privilege, and there's not one day that doesn't go by that I'm not thanking God for the kind of life and being able to make choices for my own life and not having someone else dictate my life. And society still tries to dictate life, but you still have a choice within that. I tend to go against the norm. I tend to be more of a liberal, but I'm not a far left liberal. There are going way too far on either side. So you can be a conservative person and believe in some of the ethics and morals of the conservative party, and I'm not just talking politics. I'm just talking about societies. Or you can still be a decent person and not a selfish person. It just depends on us as individuals, and since I'm talking about me, that's what I'm talking about. My spiritual life brought me through some very grave times, and they were all choices I made. No one made them for me. When you grow up under a roof, you're basically stuck with those behaviors of your parents and stuff. If you don't like what goes on there when you are old enough to get out on your own and change it. You have no one to blame but yourself. So I'm not one to sit there and self-pity and say it could have, would have, and should have. I say if it could have, then you didn't do enough, and if it should have, then your expectations are maybe not in priority. They're not prioritized, and then shouldn't, could have, would have. Oh, and would have means you haven't stepped out and gone for it. So there's a lot of would have still in my life. I still need to do things for myself, and there's things that I need to change for myself. But transitioning has given me the light at the end of the tunnel. It has made the rainbow touch the ground in my life. My transition is my treasure. And my spiritual being has carried me all through the years when I wasn't transitioned, and my faith and my belief in the good of life. So that's where I am 3 years on T. It's been a great journey, and there hasn't always been smiles, and there's been tears, and I've had my physical up and downs and my medical up and downs on this journey, but it's always a chance to just keep pushing forward. And one of my sayings is you can't win a race without some hurdles. And so if you can face those hurdles and get over them at the end of the race, you've won. You've accomplished something. If you're the kind of person that sits in at the hurdles and says you shouldn't be in my race and starts fighting it, you haven't accomplished anything, and you're not hurting anybody but yourself. So as far as 3 years on T, I really am appreciative. I'm happy. I'm at peace. And I look in the mirror and thank God every day that I have this opportunity. I'm still on the road to health and getting my body healthy. One of the reasons is because I am going to, I'm on that journey for lower surgery. I have a consult with Dr. Crane at the end of February. And for any of you guys who know anything or are researching it, Dr. Crane is opening a new practice in Austin, Texas. He will be doing surgeries between Texas and California. So if you, like me, he's already booked up through 2015. If you want your surgery with Dr. Crane, you're going to have to wait longer. That's what I was told yesterday on the phone. So it depends on who you want. He is training a new doctor, and I believe she said the new doctor will take over be on his own next November. So Dr. Crane isn't taking this lightly, and I believe his professionalism is going to, he's not just going to let any Tom, Dick, and Harry, come into his practice and do these surgeries. They're very intense, and they are all about people's lives. So anyway, so there's 3 years on T, guys, and I'm going to cut this off because I've almost 15 minutes, and I know I don't have really joyful videos. They're always just blah blah blah, but thanks for staying with me the last 3 years. I hope you continue this journey with me. God bless. Take it one day at a time, and always make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later. Bye.